This video will show how I removed the emergency brake handle and cable from a deuce-and-a-half. The spare tire was very much in the way. Alright, here's a look up at the bottom of where the emergency brake mounts. A couple things jump out at me. One, this cable's really in pretty bad shape, and I'm glad I'm replacing it. Secondly, my bolts are not welded from the bottom, so that's going to make it a lot more of a pain in the ass. I'm thinking probably vice grips will come in handy. And then I have can I call it a pass-through? Here's a pass-through where the cable's going to pass through the frame rail, and then it goes over to the emergency brake. Okay, there's a nice thick pad who is way off the drum, and then here's a thin pad. Wow, that's just grease. Here's a thin pad, and it's thicker over there. This thing has been just sitting here rubbing from the inside a lot more than the outside. Looks to me like some adjustment is needed, but I'm going to focus on getting the cable off first. And looking down at this, what I can see is there's about 6 bolts that go through the floor. 4 of them hold that sort of U-shaped shield on the bottom. What I'm going to do now is clamp onto the bolts from the bottom. It's this back outside guy that I'm clamped on, so I'm going to see if he'll come off now. Totally. Is there access to the bottom of the emergency brake from the side? Let me just tell you right now, the answer is no. This little vice grip is your friend because he will fit above the storage compartment, vertically clamped onto a bolt head. I've got all 4 bolts off, and the bracket is loose, but it doesn't want to drop down. I just wanted to show what the cable protector looks like. It's just got a couple of little ears right there and there that rest on the frame. It seems like a good alternative to a rubber grommet to me. And if I had another one, I would have it here, because clearly this edge has kind of eaten away at the outer protective cover of this cable. What worked to get this bolt out right here was I went through the middle of the U-bracket underneath with a 9/16 wrench, got it fastened onto that nut, and then I used a driver from the top side to spin it off. The next thing I'm going to try is taking this cotter pin right here out. I think I can just pull this pin right out. Yep, and there comes the handle. And there's the end of the cable. So here's my emergency brake handle. It basically doesn't want to move. I'm hopeful that I can just pull this all out. No wonder I couldn't pull the cable out, huh? Couple of bolts, couple of nuts. There's a rusty bracket, and I think I'll be putting a little paint on there before this is all done. Okay, so this one on the inside, this piece, and then a U-shaped clamp went around the cable, and then it all joined up with the original metal bracket. Okay, so this is going better now. The next thing I'm going to go after is this cable protector at the frame pass-through. These are 7/16 nuts and bolts. Here's the top part. Here's the bottom part. Okay, that's what 1/2 of this looks like. I think the other one's identical. So that's pretty cool. You gotta like this. I like it. It's got 2 halves. They bolt together like this, and they are put through the frame rail, so they sit there and protect the cable. This bolt right here that is supposed to thread in there and hold my cable is mostly backed out. I think rust is the only thing holding it in place. Okay, so there's that bolt. All right, here's my plan of attack for getting the adjustable rod end of this emergency brake cable off the pivot arm. I have clamped a vice grip to the lower part of it, and I've got a 1/2-inch gear wrench on the nut on the upper part, and theoretically, should just be able to spin it off. That adjustable nut, okay, there's two, so it makes a lot more sense. Once I've broken it loose, it's just threading right off the rod. I think it is. Look at that. There goes my cable. Goodbye, old cable. This, it's the spring that goes from the arm to that spot right there. There's a little bitty tab with a hole in it. This spring, it was not wrapped around it. It was attached to the back side of what appears to just be a cotter pin with this little arm spread. So the lock nut on this adjustment bolt is 11/16 inch, and the bolt head is 5/8. This is a really great place to have a gear wrench. Otherwise, it is spin that nut 1/12 of a turn, flip it over, spin it another 1/12 of a turn, flip it over, etc. Comments and questions are always welcome, and they help other viewers. Thank you for watching.